What what do you think that this area needs to compete with
Man.
the Floridas, the Miamis, the Austins? In terms of this entrepreneurial ecosystem, what does our area need to do better?
I think that the first thing is I'm real big into let people be creative and don't restrict people. Like I'll use Norfolk for example. The dumbest thing that Norfolk does right now is that they charge for parking. Like it's just insane that they're charging so much money for parking. And when people want to kind of get things back up and running, for example, I got a ticket. I was 12 minutes late to my car, and I received a parking ticket for $30 for being 12 minutes over. And for me, I remember when I got the ticket, I don't care about $30. I mean, $30 is still, decent amount of money, but I just remember looking at it and I was like, holy smokes. It's like, you really want to penalize people that are here doing work. And I think that towns like Norfolk, all these tolls and that really the toll is penalized Portsmouth, it's penalized Suffolk, didn't penalize Norfolk, it doesn't penalize Virginia Beach. So I think that they need to lighten up on some of the things that are costing people money that's preventing them from thriving financially. And then I think also from a eco standpoint, more funding would be good for startups or businesses. And then also, and it's not really a state thing, but like on a federal level, is like, gosh, stop taxing so much just to have employees. If you like these business owners want to hire more people, but if I'm paying out, let's say 25%, it's actually 27% right now. If I'm paying out 27% for every dollar I'm paying an employee, if I have 10 employees, I literally could hire two more people if all that money wasn't going to taxes. And so I think that it would be nice if they could figure out a way around that.
So the cities would say, oh, we have to have money into our general fund, whatever. The state would say, oh, well, we have to make money in there. Like, what's your pushback, or how do you solve that problem instead of
statistics? And I would show them that when you put more money in people's pockets, they spend more money in the areas that they live. And you're going to be able to see that your economy is going to grow substantially when people have more money in their pockets.
And I wonder too, like how much money are they spending on the parking person that's giving the tickets to, and then the person that's going around with the money. Like would removing that? I don't know the answer, right? I remember I used to have a business I still have a business in Norfolk. I used to have an actual physical space,
sure. Brick and mortar
space downtown Norfolk. People always talked about parking as an issue. I always pushed back, but it's interesting now when I go back in a couple of times a month. There was a bunch of free spots for a while. And I was like, oh, this is really nice. Well, the last two times that I've gone there, they've actually put up meters for that. And so it's interesting to me that it seemed like they got it for a little bit, allowed it to happen. It seemed to be successful. And then now they've gone back to that other system. And I personally don't know the answer. I don't know that, parking should or shouldn't be charged for. But it is interesting that you want an area to thrive and grow, like you're saying, and yet you are putting kind of some restrictions on there, especially during an area like COVID, where it's like, it is interesting that you say that. Other cities charge though, so how do other cities do it?
I think that they should have put a pause. I mean, honestly, should have put a pause, and especially right now, they should put a pause and say, "Hey, Norfolk wants you here." Versus spending $10 or $12 to park there for 5 hours.
Do whatever you can to get people in there. Give it to them.
Exactly. Chances are you're going to go there, spend money, and then sales tax is going to make up for what you're losing in parking anyway.
Substantially more. Stats will show that.
I mean, all you have to do is walk around downtown Norfolk and realize it's not the Mecca that people want it to be from a traffic standpoint.
Oh, it's super sad. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to give you guys a panel view. Check this out. I mean, look, I'm literally, can you guys see that? Like, I'm looking at downtown Norfolk right now. And it's things are moving, and that's good. But look at the parking garage. See that parking up top?
Right.
Nobody wants to park there.
It's because it's raining, dude.
No, it's not raining right now. Now I gotta reposition this thing.
Yeah, I've always said
that was stupid.
I always said, like, look, if you want to, I had this conversation. I feel like I've said this before on the show. Marcus Jones used to be the city manager of Norfolk. He's like, we want this area to be such a great place for business. And I said, then make it the easiest place in the world to have a business. Right. Just do whatever you can, get the freak out of the way, and just let the people do what they want to do. But every time you guys keep putting up red tape, even though you don't think these things are red tape, it's a deterrent. And so just make it super easy, because by the way, now you're giving someone else an option to go somewhere else, to not do anything, right? And it's just like, you guys are holding yourself back. And I'm not a really big excuse type of person, but like, this is what ends up happening is people go, well, I'm just not going to do it. And now that we live in a world with a lot of people doing remote stuff, it's like, the person doesn't have to go downtown. The person doesn't have to go anywhere. So you better damn well make it as easy as possible.
Well, and what's interesting too, a lot of people don't know this, but the highest taxed entity is parking garages. So they get taxed like close to 40-50% anyways. So it's like, why
because of the way that, from a bond perspective, the way that they bond?
No, it's because of how the city see them is like, really, they look at them as just a money grab, like it's a major money grab. I mean, think about it. They got to update the parking lines and they got to make sure the structure is sound. But outside of that, it's really maintenance free. And so they're like, why should we let you just make, $1 here, $1 there? We want a piece of that action. I think, and I'll throw this piece out. I think as they're trying to figure out what to do with MacArthur Mall, as things are kind of going south there, I think that if they created a way that would make it inviting for people to be able to come and park and enjoy Norfolk, that would be a huge plus at no cost. Like, allowed to be at no cost or minimum cost, $1 for the day, whatever it is.
Right. Well, I mean, it opens up a bigger issue just in the sense of someone needs to be on top. You need to have that chief visionary officer to look at how are we rewarding different sections. So it's like the parking person is just doing their job.
Sure.
But from a bigger standpoint, you have the marketing department for the city saying, hey, we need to bring people down here, but yet all of these reward systems aren't aligned properly. So it's like this parking attendant's job is how many tickets can I write? And that's what they're going to get rewarded for. And marketing's like, hey, man, we're trying to bring people down here.
The narrative is that people hate parking in Norfolk instead of saying, hey, I had a great time in Norfolk. And so top to bottom, I mean, it's an interesting...
Well, and like the light rail, great idea, but why didn't you take it out to the military bases? You know how many guys there that don't drive that would love to be able to jump on the light rail and come down into the city? Like it's simple thing. I mean, not that would be simple; that'd be extremely expensive. Don't get me wrong, but it's simple concepts like that would be so beneficial.
Yeah, and I bring it up not to crap on the city of Norfolk. If I'm bringing it back from a business standpoint, it's like when you are the leader of your business, you need to make sure that the reward systems align all the way across your entire business so that you're not contradicting yourselves within different departments or different sections.
Not to mention just the attraction aspect of non-locals, right? Mm-hmm. When these economic development folks in any city are going out somewhere else, and here again, more deterrence or more negative opportunities.
Well, look at us. Look at us at Magazine Jukebox. Like, we would love to have our business. Like right now, we have it out in Norfolk, but that's because we have minimal staff. But if we all of a sudden have, let's say, 100 employees, I don't want them here in Norfolk because every employee would cost me an additional $90 each just to be able to park.
Right.
So, do 90 times 100, $9,000 a month just for me to, have people park in here is insane.
Would you rather have, and kind of to your point, I don't know what your staffing would be, but let's say those people make $5,000 a month, right? That's 2 employees that you could have more employees instead of the parking aspect of it. Yeah. So oftentimes I think that people aren't looking at this from a top down, full brand.
And if I had 100 employees,
Tim was articulating it.
Right. And if I had 100 employees here in Norfolk, how many of them do you think would actually probably live in Norfolk? A third of them. So they're going to gain that money back, plus some. People want to be closer
to the bars, et cetera, et cetera. But if they're ticked off all the time, yeah, that's interesting.